Even though the United States economy is uncertain right now, the median income in the last couple years has actually gone up. In 2020, the U.S. Census Bureau found that the country's median income had reached $65,000, which is the highest that it's ever been. But there's no doubt that in today's economy, many Americans still have trouble making ends meet. And some states make way more money than others do. In fact, the median income in the lowest paying states is almost half of what it is in some of the higher earning states. It's shocking to see how much the wealth varies from state to state. So let's take a look at the top 10 filthy rich states in America. And keep in mind the area with the most wealth in the nation is Washington D.C. But since they are technically not a state, they will not be included on this list. But with that being said, let's look at number 10. At number 10, we have Virginia. Even though the cost of living is low compared to other places on this list, there are 3 specific counties that are really rich. London County, Fairfax County, and Arlington County are 3 of the top 10 richest counties in America. All 3 of these counties are really close to Washington, D.C., which, as we already said, D.C. is the richest area in the entire country. So it makes sense that Virginia is on this list because they're pretty close to Washington, D.C. If it weren't for those 3 super rich counties, Virginia definitely would not have made this list. Trust me, we're going to come back to the DC area further on this list, but for number 9, we're going to Colorado. The average household income in Colorado is around $77,000. People come to Colorado for the great outdoors, but people that live here are not afraid to spend money on expensive housing. Zillow says that the median value of a home here is about $545,000. But there is one specific county in Colorado that really helps Colorado make this list. Douglas County, one of the richest counties in the country, has a household median income of around $122,000. That's 59% higher than the state's median. And we definitely see a lot of rich people move to Colorado and buy expensive, amazing houses. In fact, 9.3% of newcomers to Denver come from Los Angeles, followed by 7.9% from San Francisco, 5.7% from Chicago, and 5.5% from Washington, D.C. So a lot of the people moving to Colorado are already moving from rich cities. So if this trend keeps happening, we could definitely see Colorado move up on this list in years to come. Now let's take a look at number 8, New Hampshire. The average household income here is around $78,000. About 1.4 million people in the state of New Hampshire don't pay income or capital gains taxes. And the cost of living here is low compared to some of the other states on this list. The average home value here is around $405,000. Also, New Hampshire has one of the lowest poverty rates in the entire country. That's one of the main reasons the average income is so high. Census data from the past shows that New Hampshire's workers are also among the best educated in the country. And people with more education tend to make more money. So it's not exactly like this state is full of millionaires or something. Just really smart, hardworking, average people with a low poverty rate. Which is kind of a lot different from the next state on our list at number 7, which is Washington. Now, the average household income in Washington is $78,600. Since big companies like Amazon call the Evergreen State home, both incomes and the cost of living here have gone up. And some of the most expensive houses in the entire world are in Washington. According to Zillow, the average housing price here is around $580,000, which is actually up 36% from 2018. But when it comes to the quality of life for everyone in Washington, Washington ranks a lot lower than you might think. Washington spends a lot less per person on K through 12 education, and only 79% of high school students in Washington graduate on time, while the national average is about 85. Washington state is also ranked 44th out of the 50 states in terms of how many 18 through 24-year-olds are in college. And another major problem here is the homelessness. The number of people here who don't have a place to live is really sad. And Washington actually ranks near the bottom for homelessness. About 28 out of every 10,000 people in Washington don't have a place to live. The national average is only 17 out of 10,000. So Washington has some serious income inequality problems, unlike the state right before it, New Hampshire. So we definitely hope that they fix some of these issues. Alright, enough of that state. Let's move on to number 6, Connecticut. The average household income in Connecticut is $78,800. 2 of the top 25 richest towns are in Connecticut. Also, the number of millionaire households per person in Connecticut is the 3rd highest in the country. Overall, Connecticut has a much higher average income than the rest of the country. However, this is partly because they have some of the wealthiest people living there. A lot of famous people, producers, and hedge fund people live in Connecticut, often in the town of Greenwich. And that's because it is a great place to live and it's easy to get to New York City. With all that being said, there are still a decent amount of poor and struggling people in Connecticut, and some of the places and neighborhoods are still pretty dangerous. Okay, for number 5, we've got California. Now, you definitely saw this one coming. The average household income here is just above $80,000. With a GDP of about $3 trillion, California has the biggest economy in the United States. It is also the most populated state in the country, with about 40 million people living here. Agriculture, the media, tourism, Hollywood, technology are all important parts of California's economy. The average home value in the state is around $750,000. And it may not surprise you that most of the people on the Forbes in fact, there's 99 Californian billionaires on that list. And this is currently at an all-time high. Also, the fact that the state is somewhat open to immigration and has a lot of innovative companies, institutions, and investors in tech hubs such as Silicon Valley and Los Angeles helps explain why so many fortunes have been made here. It's what made startups like Google and WhatsApp so successful in the 1990s and early 2000s. At number 4, we have Hawaii. Their average household income is around $83,000. Hawaii is best known for its beaches and laid-back surfer culture. But it's not cheap to live there. Zillow says that the average home value in Hawaii is over $828,000. The biggest industries here are tourism and defense. And the main reason it's on this list is because the state of Hawaii gets millions and millions of visitors every year, especially wealthy people who are willing to pay taxes on the money that they spend. Hawaii is the only place in the modern world with a tourism infrastructure that just can't be beat. And people pay to come to Hawaii because they love it so much. At number 3, we have a state that's a lot different than Hawaii, and that's New Jersey. The average household income in New Jersey is just over $85,000. Because it's so close to New York City, many millionaires in New Jersey commute to work in finance and tech. The average house in New Jersey is $435,000, which is a lot lower than the other states on this list. And New Jersey also ranks really high in education. For example, 38.9% of adults in New Jersey have a bachelor's degree. which is the 4th highest out of all the states. Also, New Jersey has the 5th lowest rate of poverty at just 9.2%. To me, New Jersey is definitely the biggest surprise on this list because it's not usually associated with wealth. Let's move on to number 2, Massachusetts. The average household income here is over $85,000. The U.S. Census Bureau says that Massachusetts has the most people with a bachelor's degree. Besides education, the other top industries in Massachusetts are finance, healthcare, and technology. And Zillow says that the average value of a home in Massachusetts is $550,000. Massachusetts also has the 10th lowest poverty rate. And at just 3.7%, it has the 3rd lowest unemployment rate. And most of the people are pretty well educated here, and that is a big reason why it's ranked so high on our list. Because over and over again, we see a direct correlation between education and income. Now let's look at the richest state in the United States. At number 1, we have Maryland, with the average household income of $86,700. Maryland has the 2nd highest number of millionaires. And again, this state is really close to Washington D.C, which, as we've already said a couple times, is the richest area in the nation. So a ton of people in Maryland have jobs at D.C. Well, what did you think of this list? Did any of these states surprise you? Leave it in the comments below. Go ahead and subscribe because I have a lot more content on the way. Until next time, peace.